My name is Jen and welcome to my channel. Today's reformer flow is going to be an absolute beginner flow. This is if the first time you're on a reformer, I'm going to walk you through everything. If you are coming back to Pilates, this is a great refresher and it's also just a great connection to get back to basics. I love going back to basics because it really brings you back into your practice. So today I am going to be starting a little bit lighter. I am on 2 reds and a blue on my balanced body. So for me, that is 2 heavies and 1 medium. When I'm working with an absolute beginner, I like a little bit less weight for leg work just until they really find how to find their neutral pelvis and their imprinted pelvis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to bring you right to it. So once you're ready, have your springs on. We need our short box today. If you don't have a box, this whole flow can be done without a box. Just for beginners, it's easier to get out of your waistline sitting up higher on the carriage. So once you're ready, gather all your stuff and I'll meet you on the reformer. So you're going to find yourself laying down on your carriage. Your headrest can be up, adjust it any way you like. From here, I just want you to find your feet on the platform. Now we're just going to start rolling our spine into our imprinted and neutral spine. So what I want you to do here is go ahead, squeeze your legs together. So squeezing your legs together gives you a little bit more of a center point of your body. And now from here, I want you to put your hands onto your belly here. Thumbs are facing around your belly button. Your fingers are coming towards your pelvis. If you notice right now, I have a neutral spine, but I'm going to tilt myself into imprint. So if your whole back is touching that carriage mat, your thumbs are going to be lower than your fingertips. Now, when I adjust and I make that lower space in my lower back with that neutral spine, my fingers and thumbs are on the same plane. If I tilt my pelvis back, you'll notice that my fingers are higher than my thumbs. Tilt it into neutral, and my fingers are on the same plane. So now some people have a tendency to overarch, which means they put their pelvis even further tilted down towards the carriage mat. So what happens then is your thumbs become a lot higher than your fingertips. So you want to be mindful. You always want to check in for that neutral spine, making sure that your fingertips are on the same plane. Thumbs aren't lower or higher than your fingers, and you also want to try to maintain this little space here. So let's go ahead, let's rock that pelvis, rock it back into that imprint position. Feel those thumbs lower than your fingertips. Rock it into neutral, you'll feel them at the same plane. Now if you rock it forward, you'll feel that your thumbs are higher. Rock to neutral, same plane. Tilt it back into that imprint. Your fingertips are higher than your thumbs. Neutral. Anteriorly tilt. Find your neutral. And then posteriorly tilt. Last one here. Tilt it back to that imprint. And from here, I want you to come into that neutral spine, find where your thumbs and your fingers are on the same plane, and then I want you to move your feet up to the foot bar. Now we're going to find our heels on that bar. Our legs are going to be squeezing together, so that means our knees, no space in between our knees. Our toes are going to be flexed towards our nose. Hands can stay on that pelvis if you're having trouble finding that neutral spine, or your hands can come down by your sides. From here, I want you to take a nice big inhale. On that exhale, I want you to push off that bar, extend that carriage out long, and resist it in. So again, you want to resist that carriage coming in. You want to use your muscles to slow down that carriage as it's coming back towards the foot bar. Think about squeezing the top of your legs, squeezing your kneecaps to your quads. The balls of your feet are pressing down on that imaginary floor. So you're coming in, you're not touching that bumper. You may be touching that bumper in the beginning, but you want to be careful not to touch the bumper. You want to be in control of these springs at all time. We'll do 3 more here. For 2. Last one, you're going to come all the way in. We're going to slide down to the balls of the feet here. Now, I want you to wrap your toes around the bar. So you can slide down to the lower part of the ball of the foot if you have trouble wrapping your toes here. So your toes are going to be wrapped into an arched position. Remember that your feet are still squeezing together. Your arms are still long. So now from here, I want you to push yourself out and resist yourself in. So again, exhale on the way out, inhale on the way in. Making sure that your knees point straight up to the clouds. Feel your pelvis. Are you still in that neutral plane, or are your thumbs lower than your fingers? Last three here. Remember, you don't want to lock those joints out. This is our last one. Come all the way in. All right, slide down just a little bit more, a little bit up onto the underneath the toes on the ball of the foot. Now from here, you're going to lift your heel like you're wearing a small Sunday heel. Now check that neutral spine. Make sure your fingers and your thumbs are on the same level. Space is at your lower lumbar. From here, extend the carriage out, resist it in. So what I was saying about locking out your joints, you want to softly press into them, not bang down into them. Are you squeezing your glutes at the top? Last four. On this last one, you're going to come all the way in. And now we're going to take our feet to second position. So we're going to open our feet a little bit wider than our hips distance apart. We're going to turn the toes towards the corners of the room. Heels are on that bar. From here, you're pressing down on that imaginary floor. You're going to take an inhale here. Check that neutral spine. Extend it out. So sometimes here, this is a common place for people to be unable to hold their neutral spine, especially in the beginning, because your feet are wider, your legs are wider than hip distance. So the pelvis has a tendency to shift forward and back. So you really want to think about pushing those sit bones into that mat underneath you. Tailbone is heavy, pressing evenly between both sides. Last two. This one, we're going to come all the way home. We're going to drop down to the balls of the feet, kind of at where the toes are, and we're coming into that high half toe position. So we're going to lift those heels ever so slightly. Check that neutral spine. Tailbone is heavy, weight evenly distributed between that bottom. From here, extend it out and resist it in. So remember, you could keep your heels as high as you feel comfortable. Doesn't have to be over exaggerated. You also want to try to make this rib connection, so you're keeping your ribs down, pressing into that carriage mat, not allowing them to come forward. Last three here. Next time you come in, come all the way into that bumper. You're going to take those balls of the feet and walk them back to the center. You're going to stay with your toes pointed out into Pilates V. Those toes are on that bar making contact. Now lift those heels ever so slightly. From here, check that neutral spine. Make sure your thumbs are not lower than your fingertips. So press that spine down, push that tailbone down. Press it out. Squeeze those inner thighs. Connect that rib cage. Resist it in. So really squeezing those inner thighs together as you extend yourself out and peeling them apart as you come in. Last 3. On this last one, come all the way in. You can go ahead, rotate your feet back to parallel, and now from here, bring your knees to your chest. Just roll those ankles ever so slightly. And then go ahead, bring your feet down to the platform. From here, if your headrest is up, please go ahead and knock it down. We are going to start with bridging on the platform, so just scoot your bottom down just a little bit so your shoulders aren't pushing into your shoulder blocks. Your arms are going to be pressing down into that carriage mat. So from here, draw those abs in, connect those ribs, hold everything tight like you're holding on a corset or somebody is pulling a string and pulling everything tight together. From here, your arms are pressing down. We're going to start with a flat back hinge. We're going to lift through our heels, lift our bottoms up to the clouds, just pull it straight up. Feel that stretch through the top of the quads. Your knees want to be pointing forward. Your heels want to be right underneath your knees. So from here, when you're ready, I want you to hinge it down, tap the bottom, and lift it up. So just flat back here, try to keep that ab and rib connection. Like every time you lift, somebody's pulling a string and closing that space together. Drop it down. I inhale down, exhale up. Remember, breathing is a tool, not a rule. Just no holding your breath. Last 2. And last one here. Go ahead, bring that bottom down. So now you know how your legs are feeling here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do the same move. We're going to bring our feet up to the foot bar. You can be on the balls of the feet or the arches or the heels. So I like the heels the best, especially for beginners, but some people like arches better. So you choose. Now I want you to find your legs together. Everything is squeezing together. So you have one big leg, arms are by our sides. We're going to do the same thing here. Draw those abs in, make that ab rib connection. You're pulling that belly button back and up underneath your rib cage, okay? So arms by your side. Same movement, flat back hinge. Lift it up and bring it down. Now what you want to be mindful of here is that you're not over pressing up and pushing your chin in towards your chest. So you only want to come up to everything's in hip in line from your knees to your hips and your hips to your shoulders. And down. Remember, if somebody's pulling that string, pulling those rib cage, knitting them closed together. We got 3 more. When you do things slow, it's much more intense. And 1 more. Hinge it down, bring your bottom to the mat. All right, we are going to bring our feet back down to the platform. We're going to go into articulation. Feet are flat against the platform. Your hands, find them on that neutral space. Now, I want you to tilt that pelvis back. Really feel those fingers lift up above those thumbs. Now, from here, I want you to continue peeling yourself up. coming up as high as you can, but not overextending. So you're lifting those hips, you're feeling the stretch through the top of your hip flexors, your knees are pointing forward. From here, you're going to articulate it down. So you're going to roll from the top of your shoulders. You're going to roll it down, vertebrae by vertebrae, pushing each vertebrae into that carriage mat. You're going to come down. You're going to find your neutral spine. Again, tilt the pelvis. Feel the fingers go higher than the thumbs. Articulate yourself up. Really push through those legs. Now your fingertips are way higher than your thumbs. Take an inhale. Slowly roll it down. Vertebrae by vertebrae, pushing into that carriage mat. Tilting that pelvis back into its neutral spine. Last one here. Tilt the pelvis. Roll yourself up. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Take an inhale. Roll from the base of the shoulders down, one vertebrae at a time. All right, next set, we're going to take it up to the foot bar. Legs come squeezing together. Heels or arches are on that bar. Arms are by your sides or checking that pelvis to begin with. From here, when you're ready, tilt that pelvis towards your nose. Flatten that back. Now lift yourself up, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling through that spine. Come up, feel that hip flexor open, feel the glutes squeezing. Arms are reaching towards that foot bar. Soften from the top of the shoulders to the middle of the shoulders, to your mid-back, coming into your lower back, coming down with your tailbone hitting last, and find that neutral spine. Again, let's do two more here. Articulate it up. Squeeze open through those hip flexors. Keep that neck soft. Roll it down. So being intentional and slow with our movements today. Last one, tilt the pelvis towards your nose. Articulate it up one vertebrae at a time. And slowly roll it down. This will be your last one. Go ahead, bring that bottom down. Bring your knees towards your chest. Rock it on out. All right, from here you can pick up your headrest, lift up your headrest if you like it. We're going to go ahead, stay a little scooted away from the shoulder blocks here. Now from here, I'm going to have you reach your hands behind you. This is where we're going to stay. I want you to try to keep those shoulders up wide. We're going to bring our legs to tabletop here. So again, this is an imprinted position. You can check your spine. You'll check your abs. You'll notice that your fingers are higher than, your thumbs are lower than your fingers, sorry. Find that neutral spine. See if you can hold it where all the fingers are on the same plane. Now from here, reach behind you, hold those shoulder blocks or those pegs. We're going in for single leg stretch. Extend it out and bring it in. So we're going to go into the series of 5 today without lifting our head. So just getting familiar with the series of 5. So this is single leg stretch. One leg comes out, the other leg comes out. We have 4 more, 2 on each side. And this will be your last one. Bring the knees in, bring them to the foot bar. Drop your knees side to side. Come back to the center. All right, coming into double leg stretch, it's the same thing. So this is your imprinted, which is safe. If this is where you feel like you need to work, then you stay here. If you can hold that neutral, it's more abdominal engagement here. So from here, we're going into double leg stretch. Keep those elbows wide if you can. Extend both legs over the foot bar and pull them in. Now, the higher you go, the easier it is. The lower you go, the more lower abs you use. So extend those legs long. You really want to extend. Think about extending those toes to the wall across from you. Relax through the upper body. Last 3. for 2, and last 1. Bring those knees in. You can tap them to the foot bar and drop them from side to side. All right, we are going to go into scissors. Scissors I do find easier when you lift your head, but we will do them with our legs, with our arms holding on. So we're going to extend one leg up to the clouds and extend one leg long. Now this doesn't have to be big, especially because we're not using our arms to help lift our legs. So from here, extend the legs into the scissor. Now you're going to switch and switch and switch. Doesn't have to be big. It gets bigger when you lift your chest. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those legs in and put it on down. Simple movements sometimes are the hardest. All right, we're going to go in double leg lower lift. So you have options here. You can keep your legs in tabletop. You can tap over the foot bar and pull them back in. Tap over the foot bar and pull them back in. Or you can extend both legs long, lift them up to the clouds, and drop them down. You choose what works for you. Both are working the abs. Just one has a longer lever. We're going for 4, 3. Inhale the way down. Exhale up. Last one. Bend your knees and bring them to the foot bar. Drop your knees from side to side. All right, let's finish this up with crisscross. So crisscross means we put our hands behind our head and our legs, we cross over our body, bringing our armpit to the opposite leg. So it's just like bicycles. We are going to be doing it with our head down today, so there will be no head movement. So from here, we're just going to think about extending one leg, just like single leg stretch. And then you would bring that elbow over to it, pull it back. Again, opposite armpit to the opposite knee. Bring it back. So you want to think about twisting the top waist over. So we're doing no flexion of the head today because this is an absolute beginner class. Last one. Are you still in that neutral spine, or did you rock to imprint? Check it out. All right, bring your feet on down, drop your knees from side to side. You can let go of those shoulder blocks. We are going to be coming up for a spring change here, so we are going to be rolling up on our carriage. So from here, I just want you to scoot yourself down a little bit, find the crook of your knee over your foot bar. Now from here, I want you to bend your knees, bring your arms up to the clouds. Tuck that chin like you're holding in a rolled newspaper underneath it. Now from here, take a big deep inhale. On that exhale, I want you to start articulating it up, rolling it up, pull back on that foot bar to help you come up and come all the way up to a sitting position. We are going to be taking off that blue spring. So reach down, take off that blue spring, keep your knees in the crook of your foot bar. And from here, you're going to reach up long, and from here, slowly roll yourself on down. And we are going to scooch ourselves back, and we are going to find our straps behind us. So I have my hands in my straps. I'm going to go ahead. Now remember, you have the option to use your long loops or your short loops. I am using my handle loops today because I just like my handle loops better when I'm not using the short loop for anything else but arms. So arms are coming up to the clouds. Now you want to make sure that your arms are over your chest, not behind your ears. So bring them up. And then from here, I want you to float one leg to table. Now draw those abs in, relax those shoulders, float the other leg to table. Both arms are up at the clouds. From here, we're going with a straight arm press. Arms come straight down, push towards the foot bar, and resist it up. So again, like I said, there is no flexion in this class, but by all means, this is your workout. So if you want to add it in, by all means, go ahead and add it in. So really pressing those hands down. Think about that tailbone. Is that neutral spine engaged? Do you feel that space at your lower back? If you don't and your knees are closer to your chest, this is a safe place to work. So this is fine. As your abs get stronger, you'll realize that you'll find yourself in neutral a lot more. We're going for 2 more here. On that next one, when those arms come up to the clouds, bring your knees to the foot bar, drop your knees from side to side. Just wither that waist from side to side. It stretches out the abdominals. Plus rotate your waist around the spine. All right, we're going to come into tricep presses. So let's extend our arms up to the clouds. Now push into those handles, draw those abs in, float one leg to tabletop, squeeze, meet the other one to it. Find that tailbone heavy. Arms are separated over the shoulders, come down, press them down towards the foot bar. Now option 1, your elbows come down to the mat. You bend and press with the elbows. So I'm inhaling when the elbows come up, exhaling when the elbows come down. Now, if that's not enough, you can take the elbows off the mat 1 or 2 inches to a hover, but just make sure your elbows are not splaying out to the side. Last 3. At any time, you can cross your ankles. Take a break when you need to. Last 1. Go ahead, bend those arms in and find the foot bar. Drop your knees from side to side. All right, we're coming into a T press here. So I like to start my T presses with my arms up at the clouds. Go draw those abs in. Find those abdominals drawn in into that tabletop position. From here, coming into that T press, open your arms out to the T. Try not to move the carriage. Now, you want to see your hands in your peripheral vision, so keep them above your shoulders here, especially if you're a beginner. From here, squeeze towards your bottom and resist it back. So little soft bends in the elbow. About hugging your hands around your glutes as you bring those hands towards your midline. So remember, imprint is a safe place to be. This is a hard one, especially when you bring your arms away from the midline out to the side. It's different than bringing them up to the clouds. So just keep your arms in your peripheral vision. We got 3 more. For 2. Last one here. When those arms, you can bring those arms up to the clouds, find that foot bar, and then you can go ahead and hang those straps on up. All right, we are going to be coming off our carriage, so let's go ahead, let's find our legs over that foot bar, coming in for a roll up. Remember, you can walk your legs down, find that crease of your knee, bring your arms up to the clouds, tuck your chin towards your chest, draw those abs in, take a big deep inhale. On that exhale, slowly roll yourself on up and come on up. We are going to be coming up off that carriage, and we are going to be grabbing our long box. So I'm going to be putting my long box on. I'm putting my headrest down on the floor. We are also going to be coming down to 1 blue spring and 1 light spring. So that's 1 medium, 1 light. So it's about 3/4 of a spring, all right? You're going to bring your bottom onto the box, and you're going to pick up your straps in front of you. Now, I am using my handles today. Doesn't make a difference, whichever one you have. Now, from here, you're going to find, so if you're just starting out, the closer you sit on this box, the closer you are to your ropes, the lighter the weight is. So the more you sit back on the box, the further you are away from the ropes, the heavier the weight can be. So just keep in mind that wherever you adjust your body on whatever prop you're sitting on, you can make things more intense or less intense. So same thing with the loops. Short loops or long loops are in your hands. I want you to bring your hands just behind your knees. They're at the corner of your box here. Now, draw those shoulders back and down. Draw those abs in. You're sitting up nice and tall out of that waistline. You're not dumping in your back here. So sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take the hands. We're going to push them behind us and resist it back. So just pushing those hands behind you and bringing it back. So think about if you were swimming, right? You're swimming and the water, you're pressing the water away from you, but then the water has to come through your fingers. So the more you open up your fingers, the faster the water will come will come back. So think about it in the same terms. The resistance on the way back. Last 3, keeping those shoulders away, not allowing them to creep up. At any time, if this weight is too much, just remove that lightest spring you have and just stay on that blue. On this last one, we're going to go ahead, bring our arms in. Now, from here, we're going to take our hands, we're going to take our arms, we're going to flip our palms. Now we're going to reach our arms up. Now, if you feel like your shoulders are creeping up to your ears, you just bring your arms a little bit lower. Reach those arms long. We're going to bend at the elbow and resist it back. So I do like my handles better than my straps. When I'm working with arm movement, it just keeps the hands and the wrist, aligns them better without the wrist kinking in different directions. Last 3. Are you still sitting up tall? Are those shoulders still away from your ears? And last one, bring it on down. Excellent. Go ahead. Relax those shoulders. All right, now we're going to go ahead. We're going to drop my left handle, and I'm going to keep my right strap in my hand. I am going to turn sideways on the box. Again, remember where you sit on the box, closer to the ropes, the easier the weight is. Further away you sit, the heavier it is, okay? So from here, feet are just resting on the mat, or they can be hanging in front. You can cross them, whatever works for you. You're going to take this strap. You're going to hold it in your hand next to you. Now, I want you to keep your hand around your waist. I want you to make that connection with your elbow and your fingers right here. Now, from here, palm open. I want you to open and close the door. So just think about shutting a door and opening it. So this is great internal, external rotation for the elbow joint and the shoulder. Last 2. And last 1. At any time, if this weight is too much, go ahead, decrease the weight. All right, we're going to take that strap. We're going to reach it with our other hand. Now, we're going to bring that arm. It's going to have a soft bend in it, okay? So you're sitting nice and tall out of your waistline. I'll put my feet down. Now, we want to bring the elbow. We want to abduct it away, and then we adduct it back in. So you're just opening the shoulder and closing the shoulder. I like to call this rubbing the belly or nudging your neighbor. So great shoulder work. Here, we never get enough shoulder work, especially women. I find that when it comes to lifting weight over our heads, it is something that we normally don't train a lot, so I try to put it in every one of my flows so I keep myself accountable. Last one here. Bring that elbow down and you can switch the strap into the other hand. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab both hands together and hold that handle. Remember, go to the long loop. If it's too heavy, drop those shoulders. This movement is coming from the waist only. So I'll show you the difference. This is the arms. This is not what I'm looking for. We're looking for movement of the waist. So it's all about rotating the waist to the foot bar and bringing it back. So it's just as much as you can rotate that waistline around your spine. The minute you can't rotate it anymore, bring it back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're doing it correctly, you really feel it on your outside waistline what you're turning towards it. All right, from here, we are going to reach down. We are going to turn around, not reach down, and we are going to face the front. So if by any, you're going to go ahead now, before we drop this strap, we're going to grab the other strap. So we're going to take both handles in our hands. Arms are coming out to the side. Remember, choose whatever arms you want, whatever straps you want, not whatever arms you want. All right. Palms are coming straight into our waistline. Elbows are narrow. Your feet can be in front of the box if this is easier for you. I like my feet tucked behind. I can get deeper out of my waistline. All right, from here, sitting up nice and tall, elbows are bent. We're coming in to serve a tray. So from here, extend those arms out and resist it back. So sitting up nice and tall out of that waistline, your shoulders are pressing back. So definitely the weight's a lot better here because we're using 2 arms. Last 2. Next time those arms come in, hold them there. We're going to flip our palms. They're going to come together. We're coming into that beach ball motion again. From here, draw that ab and rib connection. Drop those shoulders back and down. You want to close your arms, soft bend in the elbows, and resist it open. So squeeze from the back. Don't go all the way back that you start popping through your chest. So you want to stay nice and neutral on those sitting bones. You don't want the chest to pop forward, and you want to keep the shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Still sitting up tall out of that waistline. We have 4 more. Last 2. Next time those arms open wide, go ahead, drop your hands. We are now dropping the left strap, keeping the right strap in the hand. I am going to turn my back towards you. And we are going to be sitting up nice and tall. Elbow is by our waistline. I like to put my fingers here to keep it in between my waistline. You can put your hand around your waist and keep your elbow in contact with your fingers. You choose whichever way you like it, or you don't have to use anything as a guide. From here, when you're ready, elbows tucked in, you're going to open and close the door. So still sitting in nice and tall. Internal, external rotation of the elbow and the shoulder joint. Last 3. For 2. This will be your last one. When your hand comes back, you're going to go ahead, take that hand out. You're going to switch the hand. We're coming into that rub the belly, or the abduction of our shoulder. So, elbow in. From here, hand is across your belly. You're going to open the shoulder out and close it back in. So, abduction of the shoulder joint. Keep these shoulders away from the ears. Don't allow them to creep up. If you find yourself creeping up, drop your weight. This is a very good muscle group that responds to light weight and high reps. Last 2. Last 1. All right, last move here. We're going to take that strap back into our hands, into our hand that's closest to it. Now, I got the strap in my right hand. I'm bringing my left hand to meet my right hand. I'm sitting up tall on those sit bones. We're going to rotate the waist around the spine. So from here, rotate, keep those elbows, move it with the waistline, and bring it back. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders are down my back. They're squeezing together, those shoulder blades. I'm inhaling as I rotate back towards the center. I exhale as I twist away. For 3. Last 2. And last 1. All right, you can come ahead. You can go ahead, put that strap on down. We are going to finish out this class with some feet and straps. So let's go ahead, take our box off the carriage. You're going to go ahead, take that yellow spring off and add that red spring onto that blue spring. I am going to be grabbing my headrest just because I like it for my neck. And then from here, you're going to go ahead, you're going to lie down. Now you're going to put your long loops on your feet. So you're going to go ahead, extend yourself out. You're going to put a foot into that strap. You're going to extend that leg long, step into that strap, and then put your other foot in. Now, once you have your feet in those straps, you're going to go ahead, you're going to lift them up to the clouds. Now, again, let's look for that neutral spine here because this is tricky. So, as you can see, your neutral spine is going to be different for everybody. So put your hands down on your pelvis and find your neutral spine. Are your fingers at the same level, or are your fingertips higher than your thumbs? So higher than your thumbs, your bottom isn't heavy. So make sure that your bottom is heavy and that you're trying to maintain this neutral spine. From here, when you're ready, you're going to lower and lift. So legs straight, press down towards the foot bar. You're going to crease up at the hips and float those toes to the clouds. Really think about keeping that tailbone heavy on that carriage mat. And every time you bring those legs up, they're coming right over the hips, feeling that hamstring stretch. Elongating the spine because you're elongating the legs, especially if you keep that tailbone down. Last 4. Next time those feet come to 45, hold them there. You're going to click those toes together. We're coming into frog, so heels are together. We're going to bend those knees towards our chest and press them away. So trying to keep those heels glued together. Pushing straight down the midline of your body. Again, check your neutral spine. Last 3 here. Next time those feet are long, flip them out of flip them out of external back to parallel. Now you're going to bend and stretch here. Think about your neutral spine here. So you're really stretching through the glutes. If you keep that tailbone heavy and neutral. If you roll into that imprint, bring those knees closer to your nose, you're getting a lower back stretch. Last 2 here, and then you're going to hold your knees bent in towards you. On this last one, keep those knees bent. Now from here, extend them up to the clouds. Push them straight leg down. Bend in towards the center. Extend the legs up. Press them straight down. Three more in this direction. Last one in this direction. Next time your feet are long, down at the bottom, hold them there. Bring them up towards the clouds. Keep that tailbone heavy. Bend those knees. Push them towards the foot bar. Up to the clouds. Keep that tailbone heavy. Get that stretch underneath your glutes. Bend and push away. Last 3. For 2. This will be your last one here. Next time those feet are long, bring them up to the clouds. Keep them straight once they're up over your hips. Flex those toes towards your nose. Reach down on those straps. Give yourself a hamstring stretch. Again, if you keep your heels right underneath your glutes, it really stretches your hamstrings. And then from here, bring those heels together, find that butterfly stretch, and you can dip your feet into the well. Just take a few breaths here. And then once you're ready, bring those feet up to the clouds. You can take one strap off, find the foot bar, take the other strap off, and you can go ahead and hang your straps on up. We're going to finish this class out with our final roll-up. Scoot your body down to find that foot bar, tuck those knees, arms come up to the clouds, tuck your chin towards your chest, and slowly roll yourself on up. Beautiful. You can come up off the foot bar, and we are done. Thank you so much for joining me for this absolute beginner Pilates reformer flow. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Drop a comment. Let me know if you like the flow, what you'd like to see more of, and I look forward to hearing from you. Till next time, I'll see you later. Bye.